Friends, Namaskar and good evening. This is the first weekly briefing of 2021 and I welcome all of you. Let me begin by wishing all of you a very happy, healthy and prosperous new year.
Ramandeep Brar, a Canadian political leader, had visited farmers' protest site and gave support. Is it violation of visa norms?
As of now, what I'll say is we have noted these reports and we are ascertaining these facts.
Zakir Rahman Lakwi has been sentenced to 15 years in jail. Your comments, please.
Look, what I would say is the timing of these actions clearly suggests the intention of conveying a sense of compliance ahead of the APJG meeting and the next FATF plenary meeting in February 2021. It has become routine for Pakistan to come up with such farcical actions prior to important meetings. UN proscribed entities and designated terrorists act as proxies for Pakistani establishment to fulfill its anti-India agenda. It is for the international community to hold Pakistan to account and ensure that it takes credible action against terror groups, terror infrastructure and individual terrorists.
यूएस में कैपिटल हिल की घटना को भारत ने संज्ञान लिया है. पीएम ने ट्वीट भी किया है. विदेश मंत्रालय इस घटना को कैसे संज्ञान में ले रहा है?
इंडियन पोजीशन जो इस पे है वो प्रधानमंत्री जी के ट्वीट में साफ जाहिर हो गई है और ये कहा गया है कि वाशिंगटन डीसी में उपद्रव और हिंसा के समाचारों से वो व्यथित हुए हैं. सत्ता का हस्तांतरण व्यवस्थित और शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से होना जरूरी है. इस तरह के गैर कानूनी प्रदर्शनों के जरिए लोकतांत्रिक प्रक्रिया को नुकसान नहीं पहुंचाया जा सकता.
What is the update on standoff at LAC?
The update that I have is that the latest round of WMCC was held on the 18th of December and the two sides have agreed to hold the next round of senior commanders meeting and they are in constant communication through diplomatic and military channels in this regard. In the meantime, both sides have maintained communication at the ground level to avoid any misunderstandings and misjudgments, even as discussions continue for achieving complete disengagement in all friction areas in accordance with the existing bilateral agreements to restore peace and tranquility.
Any update on the stranded Indian sailors off the coast of China?
We had earlier provided a detailed brief on the situation on the 1st of January and we had informed that our embassy in Beijing is continuously following this up with Chinese authorities. Now, by way of further update, what I have is that our ambassador has again personally taken up this issue with the Chinese Vice Foreign Minister and he has requested for early approval for crew change for the crew members aboard MV Jaganand and MV Anastasia. The ministry is also in regular contact with the Chinese embassy here in Delhi. And in view of China's strict COVID-19 pandemic control and preventive measures, as well as various travel restrictions which are in place, the Chinese authorities have detailed steps which they have outlined to ensure the smooth movement of new crew to China to effect this crew change. And these steps have to be complied by the concerned shipping companies. With regard to the request for exploring alternative modes of crew change at sea, this possibility has also been taken up with the Chinese authorities and they have indicated that the details for these options are being worked out. We are awaiting these details from the Chinese authorities as of now and we will continue to remain in touch with them as well as with shipping companies to ensure that the humanitarian needs of the crew are taken care of and crew changes are effected at the earliest.
India and France have concluded annual strategic dialogue. What is the outcome of this dialogue?
You know that the French delegation led by Mr. Emmanuel Bon, the diplomatic advisor to the French president, is currently in town and they had the annual strategic dialogue with NSA yesterday. And today the diplomatic advisor called on the PM in the morning. He's had other meetings also. The visit is presently ongoing and we'll share further details subsequently.
Sandeep from Tribune has a question. During EM's Colombo visit, what were the specific proposals India is keen to implement in infrastructure area?
Sandeep, EM was on an official visit from 5th to 7th of January at the invitation of Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena of Sri Lanka And you would have seen our press release on this, as well as you would have seen the opening remarks made by PM at the presser in Colombo. Now, during the visit, EM had discussions with his counterpart. He also called on the Sri Lankan leadership, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. And these discussions with his interlocutors, they covered the entire gamut of bilateral relations. The progress in the partnership was also reviewed in detail during the visit. Regarding the economic aspects of the partnership to which your question pertains, there are proposals in the areas of infrastructure, energy and connectivity which were discussed. And these proposals were discussed in the specific context of creating environment to accelerate Sri Lanka's post-COVID economic recovery, as well as to have a positive medium-term impact on its development. I do not have the details of specific proposals, but what I can tell you is that essentially the discussions focused on the opportunities that could be created by taking these proposals forward, and particularly in the context of what the Indian businesses can do in terms of investments in Sri Lanka. So investment opportunities were also discussed. There were also discussions on special zones for pharmaceutical manufacturing and on the revival of tourism. And we expect to send a pharma industry delegation at an early date to Sri Lanka. Regarding tourism, EM discussed the importance of establishing air travel bubble arrangements from India. And the Sri Lankan side will revert to us with their specific proposals on this.
Sandeep from the Tribune has a question. How does the MEA react to observations by US Ambassador and US Congressional report on the possibility of sanctions if India purchase the S-400 missile defense system from Russia?
Sandeep, you know, India and US have a comprehensive global strategic partnership. India has a special and privileged strategic partnership with Russia. We pursue an independent foreign policy. This also applies to our defense acquisition and supplies, which are guided by our national security interest. This is what I would like to say.
Will India react to the Trump administration's decision to change the annual H-1 cap lottery process and replace it with a salary-based selection process?
We have taken note of the recent proclamations of the US government extending by 3 more months the current suspension of entry of certain immigrants and non-immigrants to the USA. We are engaged with the US government for increased predictability in the visa regime and to minimize convenience to Indian nationals in the US or those proposing to travel to the US for bona fide reasons, including the movement of Indian professionals. You would know that people-to-people relations are a vital part of the partnership between India and the US. There is recognition in the US of the fact that Indian skilled professionals have contributed to the growth of the US economy and help the US economy retain its competitive edge and innovation advantage.
नेपाल में जारी राजनीतिक उठापटक और डेवलपमेंट पर भारत का क्या आकलन है?
जैसे कि मैंने पहले कहा था, ये नेपाल का अपना आंतरिक मामला है और एक पड़ोसी और शुभचिंतक के रूप में भारत शांति, समृद्धि और विकास के रास्ते पर आगे बढ़ने में नेपाल और उसके लोगों का सहयोग करता रहेगा.
That there are media reports that during the visit of Nepali Foreign Minister to India, India is going to pledge vaccine to Nepal. Will that be given as a humanitarian support or as G2G deal?
Sureshji, I had mentioned earlier during the visit of Foreign Secretary to Nepal in end November, he had extended an invitation from EM to the Nepalese Foreign Minister to visit India for the Joint Commission meeting. And dates for the visit are still being finalized. So, we'll provide you further details as and when these dates are finalized.
As India is rolling out COVID vaccine, when the neighboring countries including Bangladesh will receive it, whether India and Bangladesh will sign G2G agreement for exporting vaccine?
Look, there is understandably interest in many countries to access vaccines from India, which has emerged as the global hub for vaccine manufacturing. And you would know that since the beginning, India has been at the forefront of global efforts in responding to this common fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. And India sees international cooperation in this field, particularly with its neighbors, as its duty. Now, you would be aware that in our neighborhood, we have already provided medicines and other essential supplies. We have also provided training assistance for experts from these countries on vaccine-related issues. As we roll out vaccines, Prime Minister's announcement that India's vaccine production and delivery capacity will be used for the benefit of all humanity in fighting this crisis needs to be noted.
India, after joining the UNSC, has become the chair of the Taliban Sanctions Committee. Since violence perpetrated by the Taliban is holding up the Afghan peace process, does this new responsibility mean that India will be more directly involved and have a voice in the Afghan peace process too?
Look, we began our 2-year tenure as the non-permanent member of the UN Security Council from the 1st of January. And you would know, Nilova, that our tenure will be marked with a commitment to promote responsible and inclusive solutions to international peace and security, a new orientation for a reformed multilateral system, and a worldview anchored in our ethos of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is the world is one family. Now, with regard to Afghanistan, you would know that India and Afghanistan, as contiguous neighbors, we share a natural historical relationship. Our strategic partnership and long-term commitment to the development of Afghanistan reflects this time-tested partnership. We have invested heavily in the peace and development in Afghanistan, and we support all efforts to bring peace and stability in that country. Our position on the peace process has also been well articulated. The peace process must be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned, and Afghan-controlled. India, as an important stakeholder, we look forward to working towards a peaceful, prosperous, sovereign, democratic, and united Afghanistan. So this is our approach and position on this issue, and this will guide us at the UN Security Council.